Hello, children. Today we're out here birding in this dark hammock habitat in southeast Florida. We're mostly looking for warblers, but I can guarantee you, knowing myself, that halfway through this is going to devolve into an insect watching trip. Anyways, you could barely see through these branches, but there are two brown thrashers here, an adult and a very young juvenile, probably a recent fledgling. The adult was thrashing through the leaves in search of insects on the ground to feed the fledgling. Brown thrashers are a member of the mockingbird family, but are usually much less visible than their charismatic mockingbird cousins. Right here we have our first warbler of the trip, the common yellowthroat, a rare case of a bird being called common and actually being super common. These little guys were everywhere and were probably the most common warbler species around. This is a beautiful adult male, identifiable by the black mask and white stripe on the face. Both sexes, throughout all stages of life though, have that beautiful bright yellow throat. This right here is a black-throated blue warbler, but this individual is not blue, nor does it have a black throat. That is because that is the mature male coloration. This species though is easily identifiable by the white square on the wings. This bird in here that you may or may not be able to see through these branches is the extremely elusive northern water thrush. While this species is almost always seen near the water, it is not a thrush, but a warbler. While water thrushes are pretty distinct from any other warblers, the two species can be very hard to tell apart. This is undeniably a northern water thrush, based on multiple factors. Most reliable is coloration. The northern water thrush has a dull off-white yellowish color on the belly, and very dense dark streaking, as well as a thin tapering supercilium, or the line running above the eyes. The similar Louisiana water thrush is much bolder white below, with less streaking and a thicker, more blocky supercilium. I tend to see northern water thrush in these kinds of hammock habitats, whereas normally I see Louisiana in cypress swamps, though I have had overlap. Early May is the best time in southeast Florida to find blackpoll warblers. For a few weeks out of the year, these guys are absolutely abundant here in Palm Beach County. While this one is a female, so it doesn't have the black cap, distinctive of the name, this species is easily identifiable by the bright orange legs. This one was particularly interesting to me, as it had just caught this huge caterpillar, and was consistently beating it against this stick. I feel like it was taking a little bit too much enjoyment out of this. And just like that, as I'm looking up for warblers, I spot my first swarm of garnet gliders of the year. This is an abundant flyer in Palm Beach County. Wasn't even known from here until I discovered them on this channel. I'm glad to see them back a second year, especially at a new location I didn't report them at last year. Some of the most abundant flyers in this dark wooded hammock habitat besides warblers were hoverflies. Most of them were very common species, like this ultramarine hoverfly, and this double-banded plushback, which, despite it being a very common species that I come across in open meadow habitats, was a welcome and unexpected find in a dark wooded hammock. Usually the species I come across in these habitats are the northern plushback, which have less bright orange and less distinct black stripes on the thorax. The most amazing hoverfly that we saw this entire trip though was this beautiful yellow-legged hoverfly. This was only my second time ever seeing this species, and my first time being able to film it. Just watching it consistently hover in the same spots in front of me, just right in the line of view, was incredible. The yellow-legged hoverfly is a member of the genus Orphnobaca, which is a tropical genus, and this species is a tropical species that has made its way into Florida, especially along the east coast, in these kind of dark habitats near mangroves. In flight, you could sort of see the distinctive black markings on the wings, though because hoverflies consistently move their wings so quickly, you can barely see it through the blurry motion. But luckily for me, I was able to spot a second individual that was landed, and here you can clearly see all the field marks that makes the yellow-legged hoverfly such an unmistakable species. Despite the name, many hoverflies have yellow legs, and the black and yellow banding on the abdomen is similar to many species, but the wing infuscation or the patterning of dark and clear areas on the wings is extremely distinctive for this species. As you can see, there is a small black spot at the base of the wings. Then for about the first third, it's completely hyaline, or clear. Then there's a large black spot about halfway down the wing. Then the remainder of the wing is yellow above and dusky below, with more black at the wingtips. It was amazing finally getting my first up-close views of this species.